All right, guys. I believe we are live, but I'm going to make sure before I really do the introduction. Looks like we're live, and I'm going to make sure you guys can hear me as well. I know sometimes there's been some echoing going on, so just give me a moment. And let's see what's happening here.
Yeah, it's on.
All right, looks like it's on. I don't know why the video is stuck on my end.
Okay.
Okay, Boxing Office says, I hear y'all. All right, cool.
Yep.
All right, so let me grab this link, man. I know a couple of you guys asked for me to post it when we went live, so let me do that real quick, and then, like I said, I'll follow up with the introductions. And give me a second, guys. But what's up, everybody who's already here? Welcome to the Sim Standard Podcast. Myself, SimFBallCritic, along with Smitty. And who knows who might show up later on tonight. But give us a second, guys. I'm just posting the link. And then we'll get rolling. So how's everybody been, man? I know we took a week off last week. Some people were a little pissed off by it. And I'm like, look, man, you know, we got lives too, man. So, you know, we didn't mean not to be around for you guys, man. But listen, man, sometimes life happens. But anyway, man, it doesn't look like the video is going to play properly on my side. I don't know if that's a YouTube thing. If one of you guys can give us a thumbs up or a yes or a no, let us know, is everything coming through clearly as far as our voices, visual and everything. Y'all let me know how that's working. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and get started. So, guys, what we basically going to talk about... Oh, wait a minute. I can watch it here on my phone really quick. All right. Yeah, there we go. It's working. All right, man. So what we going to basically talk about tonight, man, this could be a short episode, depending on whether or not, you know, we can stretch out these topics. Don't have a lot to talk about tonight, man. It's one of those times of the year where, you know, the midpoint of May, E3 and EA play is coming up very, very soon. So I'm sure everything will jump off a lot better after that happens. Smitty will be out there, and we'll remind you guys of that after the show. As well as I won't be there. I've already told you guys that. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be in Mexico the week before that and returning on the 9th. So, hey, I'm not going to be there, but Smitty will be there holding everything down to give you guys his impressions on what is played. And let me preface it by saying this. I know what y'all going to do. Y'all going to hear Smitty give his opinion on the game. And then something might happen, you know, the game might not be exactly what you expected. Then you're going to turn around and say Smitty lied to you. All I want you to do, man, is just listen. Play the game, see the game, rent the game, whatever, make your own decision. I'm going to start that campaign right now. Make your own decisions. Stop relying on what Smitty and I and other people say and internalize it as, oh, well, that, you know, this, that, and the third. And then if it's something that you don't like or like, don't try to turn around and say, is you know what I mean? Like, have your own opinion. It's just like Madden 18. Some people I know right now still love Madden 18. Can you believe that? Love it. Me, on the other hand, along with Smitty, it's okay. You know, I still play it from time to time, but it's just, That's kind of how I feel about it right now. So that's all I'm saying, man. As we're approaching this season, just allow whatever's going to be to be. We're going to give you our honest feedback like we always do. Explain it to you, you know, how the game is, et cetera, and then there you have it. But anyway, what we're going to talk about here tonight, man, is we're going to talk about the promotion of Clint Oldenburg as far as on the Madden team. We'll talk about his new position and what that might mean, as well as what it means to us, you know, seeing that Clint obviously is still on the team, and, you know, what the future of Madden might be in terms of Madden 19 with Clint's direction as well as in the future. But then what we also will talk about, and we might even dive into this first, let's talk about the NBA playoffs, man. Let's definitely talk about that a little bit. Talk about what we're currently seeing. Who do we think now will actually get to the finals and why? And also, who do we think will possibly win the finals? And just, you know, just give our overall thoughts on what's currently going on in the NBA. So I figure we'll start there, Smitty, because the Madden stuff will probably, you know, linger on a little longer. But let's go ahead and jump into the NBA playoffs, man. What you got on it, man? Anything, any opinions or anything you want to say, comments, etc.? What's your thoughts on the current playoffs?
Well, the Toronto Raptors, yikes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, LeBron got they heart. LeBron got the DeRozan's heart, especially. He got it in his back pocket. So them boys were whipped up real fast. Boston, them boys are deadly with it. And see, but this is the difference with a well-coached team, and this is a big-time knock that I have with LeBron, and which was a big-time detrimental thing because he did the whole super teaming thing in the first place. He never honestly knows what it means to actually build up a team and actually rear his team up. He's not a true coach on the floor. He's just a guy that gets frustrated when things don't go a certain way, and then he quits on the rest of his squad. You know what I'm saying? And instead of pushing through. Because, I mean, look at the team that he has. You got Jordan Clarkson, who was averaging 15 points. You got Rodney Hood, who, like, I don't know his stats, but he's a good, solid contributor for Utah. You have George Hill, solid contributor. Not, he's had his low periods, but still, he's a solid contributor. You got guys that can legitimately contribute. You have to develop that team chemistry for real. Buying everybody a suit and wearing the exact same thing and all that stuff with you guys are flooding like crazy. So, hey, I got to say that about the pants, but I'll say that, but I'll be right back, though. I got to answer the door real quick. Go ahead, Sim. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, so Smitty's got to run real quick, guys, and y'all might be experiencing some lag and such right now, man. I'm trying to get this thing situated. I don't know what's going on, man, but long story short, I think what I just need to end up doing is breaking down and getting an actual, say, gaming PC, a PC that's available or equipped for streaming content and things of that nature. You guys know my story. I got a MacBook right now, MacBook Pro. You would think it has enough power to do what it needs to do, but it gets buggy and laggy from time to time, especially when I'm using OBS. So I think I'm going to invest in a PC, man, where I can dedicate it just for streaming things of that nature, and I can still do my edit work and all of that on the Mac. So excuse that, man, if that's happening, guys. But anyway, I want to just chime in real quick on what Smitty was saying about LeBron, and then, when Smitty comes back, I'll let him continue with his point. Smitty may have to run in and out, guys. He's getting his lawn done right now, and he has to, pay the guys and things of that nature, so I'm sure that's what he's doing. But Smitty brings up a good point. Listen, I like LeBron James as much as the next man. I feel like LeBron gets, in my opinion, a huge amount of criticism for just him as a player. It's okay to criticize LeBron James for some of his decisions, his decisions such as, when he announced he was going, taking his talents to South Beach, things of that nature, and, his decision to create a quote-unquote super team. I understand all of that. I get it. But at the same time, man, I don't think it's fair to be overly harsh and overly critical of how this man plays. Like, I don't think we can deny that LeBron James is the truth on the court. Regardless of your opinions of the man, I don't think you can deny you can't deny what that man has done for basketball, just on the court. And it's crazy because I see so many people trying to attack him as the player, and I'm like, dog, he's the best player in the world right now. Does he do everything right? Absolutely not. But what player does? Does he force the issue sometimes? Yes, but again, what player doesn't? But at the end of the day, man, I think the biggest problem right now, I think, with Cleveland is, it's like Smitty said, I don't think that LeBron is currently making his team better. And to me, that's a huge problem. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the difficulty is in doing that. But clearly, LeBron James is not making his team, to me, as good as they could be. And listen, I don't know what the the calls are. I don't know what Ty Lue is drawing up or what LeBron is drawing up. But it just seems like this year is not the same caliber of making your teammates better. And I'm not trying to put all of that on LeBron, but Cleveland just don't have it, in my opinion, right now. They just don't. They don't have enough other guys that are contributing on a regular basis. You would think Jordan Clarkson could come in there and give you a little spark. He did that in L.A. You would think a guy like Rodney Hood with his size and his potential. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, man, but it definitely, in my opinion, right now, just seems as if the others are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not helping out LeBron in the manner that they once have. You know what I mean? So that's a serious issue. But listen, what you gonna do about that? You know what I mean? What can he do but try to continue to do what he's been doing? And guys, you might see me look down from time to time, man. Again, I don't know what's going on with the computer, but I'm following along the chat here, just using my phone. So I'm just, kind of look down, see what some of you guys are saying here. Dad says, agree about coaching, but LeBron don't quit. He lose, LeBron quit against the Celtics in 09 or 10, whenever, but he losing with enough 40-point triple-doubles at the point. That ain't him quitting. He's missed too many free throws, and he's turned the ball over in the clutch late in the shot clock. Absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that, Dez. And what I'm doing, Smitty, is I'm just, kind of giving my thoughts on LeBron real quick, and then I'll throw it back to you. What I was saying, just to bring you back up to speed, is, LeBron gets crazy criticism, man, for whatever reason. Some people just don't like him. I get if people don't like what he's done, as a person, quote unquote, like the decision, the super team and all that stuff. I get it. But on the court, I mean, he is what he is. LeBron is a monster. Let's not act like he's not. But I think, like, what you were alluding to is he, for whatever reason, this year he's not really making his team better. I don't know what it is, man.
He never did make a team better. That's the thing. He never developed. Who has LeBron honestly made better? Like, over his career, he hasn't made anyone better. It's just people got opportunities to shoot the ball because either him or Wade or Bosh or Kevin Love or Kyrie, the attention was on them. So it's like, naturally, kick it to J.R. Smith, kick it to Ray Allen, kick it to Mario Chalmers, kick it to Norris Cole, Udonis Haslem, all those guys. Like, so it's not like he made them better when it mattered. So then when you have the lull moments, like, how come Clarkston hasn't played yet? This dude, can they give you 15? This guy's capable of giving you over 20. And he's not even seeing the court. And it's like, oh, he's not ready. I'm like, what do you mean he's not ready? You traded away Wade and all them other guys to get, and see, that's the other part too. Look, LeBron's the GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We can skip all that. He basically wanted all these moves to be made because that's how he felt. And that's fine. He had all these moves made, and what are you doing with those moves? Nothing's being done. You got dudes that could get the job done, but there's no real camaraderie, and there is no real killer on the floor. And this is what I'm saying, like, I'm seeing people in the chat say that. Let me know who LeBron has made better. Let me know who LeBron elevated. Who has he cultivated? I want y'all to tell me who LeBron has cultivated. Like, I bet they can't name me 3 players that they say he got elevated. Who has he elevated?
Well, you know what? I think it depends on the definition as far as how people look at it. Because I think the way I look at it is elevating. I think LeBron has made people better around him because of his distributing and also his command of the ball and people converging on him and he's kicking it out. To me, I look at that as making somebody better because you're getting them open looks and you're taking attention away from these guys. But, you know, it could be different definitions. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I see it. Like, I guess what I'm saying is from a team standpoint, if you bring this guy on the team and now all of a sudden everybody's open, you know, guys are able to move, the ball is moving, he's kicking it out, he's commanding double teams, et cetera, et cetera. To me, I'd be like, oh, he's making these guys better because he's putting them in better situations, not necessarily making their skill better, if that makes sense. So that's kind of
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing to give somebody an open shot, but what are you doing to make the team better? Like, that's what I'm saying. J.R. Smith, is his game being taken to another level? Are you meant like, okay, this is an example here. Like what Jordan did. Jordan's presence made a big deal. It wasn't just his statistical impact. It was also his presence. Like the performance was commanded out of the team. You know what I'm saying? LeBron doesn't command it out of his teammates. It's like, that's why you heard, if you've seen the game too, you heard the commentary, you seen how they was talking. They was sitting up there saying like, oh my goodness, they're acting like they're in a 7-8 year marriage and they're up here rolling eyes at each other and smacking lips and all that. Like, what team is doing that unless you're just a complete disarray? Like, they just point fingers at each other all day. That's what I'm talking about. So it's one thing to drive and kick, but outside of driving and kicking, what else you doing? And just for dudes in the comment section that was saying he made Mo Williams better. Mo Williams actually averaged the exact same amount of points before he came to Cleveland and after Cleveland. As a matter of fact, when he went to Cleveland, his numbers went down a little bit. So,
Dez got a question for you. I want to read it because this should be an interesting comment here. Dez said, well, who did Michael Jordan make better?
Jordan, well, who did he make better? Scottie Pippen. He made Scottie Pippen better. You think Scottie Pippen was a top 50 player, well, one of the historic 50 players because of MJ. So he commanded, and that's the whole thing. He commanded the performance. When somebody came out on the floor, there was an expectation of performance out of those players. That's the thing. You'll see somebody miss a shot, turn the ball over 2 or 3 times. You'll see Jordan grill them on the court, and all of a sudden they turning it around. That's the kind of stuff that Jordan did. Is LeBron doing that to his teammates? No, he's not doing any of that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying he doesn't talk to his teammates at all, but these are things that LeBron just doesn't do. It's like if things don't go the way he wants to, he goes away. He backs off the game and just says, "All right, well, I'm done. I'm finished. Y'all got it. I quit." Like, he quit in the middle of the game. So like, and that's stuff that I have issues with him with. And he's great. Look, LeBron James, in my opinion, he's a top 5 all-time player, without question. No doubt about it. I love him as a player. I just don't love some of the moves that he made. There were moves he made like that whole super teaming thing. I think that hurt him because he didn't get to carry, he didn't get to truly develop, go through not just taking a team to the finals, but doing more than that.
This is interesting, man, because
against Brian,
some people are
Troy
saying
hasn't been the same since Game 5.
They say
okay.
Smitty they said you might have bias against LeBron. One guy says you can't be serious.
Some people don't like. Some people got LeBron tatted on their back, so they got to get mad about that. They got to be upset because you're talking about their hero. It's all good.
I don't know though. I think it's an interesting debate, but I don't know. I kind of feel the other way, man. I see what you're saying, but I do feel like LeBron. He maybe he doesn't get up in them like what you, because I know what you're saying when you say he don't get up in them and demand things out of them, maybe like Jordan did. But I do think LeBron makes the team better. Like, I think when he's on the court, he makes these guys play better to a certain degree. And then I guess I feel like, how much of it do I put on LeBron and do I put on the player? Like, to me, like, for example, there's no reason why J.R. Smith is so inconsistent. What's going on with that? What's wrong with this dude, man? I mean, he's just inconsistent. You know what I mean? And is that LeBron? But then again, where I have to question it with the whole LeBron thing is, like you said, is it LeBron being the impromptu coach on the field, on the court, and is this a reason why some of these guys are not in the game? Like, why isn't Jordan Clarkson getting a little more time? I don't know. It makes me wonder stuff like that, because they always say that LeBron is basically the GM and the coach on the court. So if that is the case, then yeah. And just like they say that they feel like that LeBron was kind of advocating the whole Kyrie trade, I got to put that on him. But I do think he makes his guys around him better. Maybe he doesn't get as much out of him as, like you said, like a Jordan would have. But I don't know if I could say that he hasn't made anybody better around him.
I'm just saying, Jordan Clarkson was averaging 14 before he came to Cleveland. He don't even come off the bench.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's up with that, man. Like, why is that man not getting no time?
Rodney Hood, George Hill, just saying. You traded away Wade and all these other brothers. You because you sat in the corner salty. You was mad. Y'all was all pointing fingers at each other over there in Cleveland. Now it ain't going the way you want to, and you get these guys over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of environment is going on over there in Cleveland? Like, you got the great. This is what I'm saying is, do you command greatness? Do you command excellence out of your team with the players on the floor? Obviously, the coaching aspect is a part of it. So that goes on Ty Lue as well. It's on Lue. I'm not putting this all on LeBron. This goes on Lue, but then on the floor, you're a coach on the floor, man. You got to be that coach on the floor. What's going on with the guys on the floor? Like, what is the deal? I'm not saying get into a fist fight with your teammates, but like, somebody need to get at somebody about what the heck is going on. Everybody just looks at each other with frustration, and that's it.
Boy, they don't agree with you, Smith.
Hey, you ain't gotta agree. Like I said, they got that sword tatted on their arm. I'm good with that. I'm good. The game shows. That's all that matters. Tell me what happened with all these. I'm just saying, tell me what happened with these players. No one's showing anything.
I seen a couple guys saying that, and I be honest, I wouldn't know, because like, I'm not the basketball aficionado like that. But some guys and a few guys have said that, what's his name, Clarkson doesn't really play good defense, and maybe the lack of playoff experience is what's keeping him on the bench. Could be. Somebody else said that he's getting out-coached. Now, I will agree with that.
Yeah, he's getting out-coached.
Brad Stevens is doing his thing. That dude is coaching. So I will definitely go along with that side of the story. But yeah, man, you think it's over? You think the series is over, or do you think Cleveland can still too? Yeah,
they could. I think this will go potentially 7 games. I feel it'll be a 7-game series. Wow. Do I think Boston? I think Boston will end up pulling it out, but I think this is going to go 7 games, because Cleveland's going to go as far as LeBron can take. Well, I would say both LeBron and Kevin Love are going to be the most critical keys. Because I mean, look, if they can get Korver, open, a legitimate, like, all he needs is a little crack, and he could go ahead and he'll snap that 3 real fast. So if they could get Korver going, maybe some home cooking might help JR because of how streaky he is. But if those two guys get cooking, they're good. They could very easily level this thing out, go to Boston, and possibly, like I said, they could take one in Boston. That's all they need to do, and they'll be straight. So we'll see.
Oh man, yeah.
That's what I think.
Pete Frene, hope I'm saying it correctly. He said
They
don't even have their best two players, man.
That's true.
That's what's scary.
Yeah.
Like, just think about, like, and it makes you wonder, you know, what the dynamic will be when Kyrie comes back the way Rozier has been playing. But if they can make it work, just think about having that spark off of the bench. Like, just think, insert Kyrie and Gordon Hayward in the starting lineup. And think about whoever you want to take off the court. Think about whoever those guys are that come off the court. Think about them coming back in the second unit. Boston could be a serious. Matter of fact, even though they got us up out of there real quick, I'm going to enjoy seeing Boston and my Sixers go at it for the next few years, because I think both of them teams clearly are on the rise. Sixers was a little young. You know, they weren't quite ready. You know, Ben Simmons, you know, it's easy to blame people after the fact, but, you know, I think if he would have pulled that rebound out, you know, instead of trying to tip it, you never know what could have happened in that game. But who knows if they still would have won the series. I doubt it. But, you know, little stuff like that, man. Those are the little things that when people say experience and, you know, keeping your mind sharp, and little stuff like that is what comes over time. Yeah. But I think, man, those two teams going at it is going to be some serious, you know, some huge, like, battles. And I'm very excited about that. But, yeah, man, what's going to happen with – I mean, look at Boston. All of these dudes – and they don't just have youth. These dudes can ball. You know, like Rozier, to me, is like that scrappy guy that can get hot. And when he get hot, watch out. Jason Tatum balling. The Brown kid, Jaylen Brown, balling. They even got Al Horford out there balling. You know,
Marcus Smart, scrappy.
There you go, another scrappy dude that can shoot the rock if you leave him open.
Yep.
Come on, man. And then you gonna throw Kyrie back out there and Gordon Hayward.
Yeah. Bruh, that's it.
That's a bad situation for the East right there, because clearly, man, the pendulum has swung. Cleveland they're not the team no more. They're not the team that they were last year, the year before. They're not that perennial get to the finals team. It's funny we saying that, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's still, as much as we've talked about LeBron, we still got to acknowledge his greatness. Like, this is phenomenal what this dude has done. Regardless of, you know, what people think about the teams that's built around him, still, him putting up 40-point games and triple-double, like, the dude is ridiculous with it. But I think that reign has come to an end. Be interesting to see where he goes, man. Be interesting to see if he stays in Cleveland or if he says, hey, I want to go out into the West. And I did see somebody else say this as well. It'd be better for him to lose this series instead of losing another finals.
It would.
So we'll see what happens there, man. But I agree with Smitty. I think it has a potential to go 7. I don't trust it.
Oh yeah, Morris. They got Marcus Morris too.
Morris,
forgot about him.
How can I forget?
The right.
Morris
like,
twin.
Yeah.
See, and
that. You know what? You know what? It's. They can potentially be at this point at least. They could be more of the poor man version of Golden State.
Yep.
In the sense of how stacked the team is based off of good coaching and draft picks. Now, outside of those trades, you know, outside of the trade for Kyrie, they have a really nice team. Kyrie wouldn't even have to necessarily average what he like. He can mess around and average 17, 18 points a game because you got the luxury of Rozier. You got Brown. Like, you have a team already, and these guys weren't even involved. Well, Kyrie was involved for 60 games, so I'm not going to say like they had nothing to do with anything. But I'm saying, though, that you bring Hayward into the fold and they can have more of a shared collaborative effort. Hey, I mean, they could come out and be averaging 20 plus. You got two dudes averaging 20 or whatever the situation. But it's just that crazy because they'll have that versatility. So that's why. And then Philly. You see, once we get to see what what Markel can go ahead and do,
the missing piece.
in a full season, and then Simmons, he worked on his jump shot. And he actually starts to crisp that thing up. Hey, you got, like I said, you got yourself a little miniature kind of LeBron kind of player, because that's what LeBron was when he first got in the league. He didn't have a great jump shot. He had a decent one, but he didn't have a great one. So he worked on his game. Hey, he'll be doing some damage in the league for years and years to come. And Embiid stay healthy. That's a homegrown trio right there.
Man, yes. So, and some people saying, LeBron to the Sixers. I don't want him to go to the Sixers. I want the Sixers to build off of what they have now. Because obviously LeBron ain't going to be there for 5 more years. So I would rather them keep what they have. They're going to pick somebody obviously in the draft, but keep what they have. Build on that. Because I think Markelle Fultz, in my opinion, was the missing component this season, because the Sixers, we really don't have another guy that can create. Embiid and Ben Simmons, which, on a lot of teams, you're lucky if you get more than 2 guys. But you look at a team like Golden State, in today's NBA, I mean, it seems like a lot of teams have 3 guys that can get their own shot, so to speak.
Right.
Philly don't have that. Philly got a lot of guys that can shoot wide open jumpers. Mm-hmm. The only 2 guys who really can create a shot or get to the rack whenever they want to is Ben Simmons and Embiid. And the little scrappy McConnell, he get you some hustle. But if we would have had Markelle Fultz, man, another dude that can score and facilitate, and you can still let Ben Simmons bring the ball up when he wants to, like, that might be something. We'll see what they do with it, but I don't know, man. What I was saying about the series with the Cleveland, I don't know, Smitty. If they can win both games in Cleveland, possible 7. If they lose a game in Cleveland, I think they're done in 5. And I think they get them out there. They'll beat them. They'll do a gentleman's sweep, is what I feel. If they steal a game in Cleveland, then I think it's over in 5. That's how I feel. Okay. But we'll see. We've doubted LeBron James plenty times before, but
I would like to see LeBron stay in Cleveland, to be quite honest. They got that 8th pick. I would like to see them, draft somebody for the future with LeBron James there, and what I'm saying, like, try and cultivate that talent. And you're still competing. What I'm saying, at the same time, because, I mean, where is he going to go unless he goes to somebody that's already winning on the West? Like, where is he honestly about to go to get a championship? Unless some current stars decide to come together and meet him in Cleveland, or they go to another, or he goes to someone else's squad, which I don't think. I don't know. I just don't like LeBron, passing himself around like that, like going from one team. Okay, what's the next best vacancy? Let me go over here now. Okay, that ain't hot no more. Let me go and head over here. Like, I would love to see him finish up with Cleveland, and they could have a new nucleus, because essentially that's possibly what he would have had if they didn't trade Wiggins, because they traded Wiggins away for Love. So if they kept Wiggins, you would have had Tristan, LeBron, Kyrie, and Wiggins there at Cleveland. And I mean, those dudes could have potentially ran and got a championship or 2 together with just those, those guys being the front runners. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, I would love to see LeBron lead a charge with adversity against him. Not necessarily. And I mean, I know he's older. I get that. But I'm saying, as those years progress and, Father Time starts to catch up, do it progressing with, This is the future of the squad. This is our future guy. If he chooses to, that's on him at the end of the day. But I'm just saying, I rather would see him do something like that instead of see him go to another team at the end like that. Especially when, this dude's dropping 40 pieces with you know what I'm saying, triple doubles and stuff like that. Like he's not done. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the crazy part about it. And he could very happily walk away from the game depending upon how things go this year. He could walk away and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm finished. Like I don't want to play. I enjoy the game, but I don't want to be playing that dang on hard. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see, man. If he leaves, I don't know, man. For some reason, Houston seems like I wouldn't be surprised, man, with the connects with with Chris Paul and
Chris Paul.
And who knows what he's thinking, but I'm thinking if LeBron decides that he wants to go compete in the West, it's got to be Houston. I would think the LA move maybe, but I don't know. I think the LA move is similar to where he's at now. Who's a superstar out there? Unless they're gonna get Paul George in LA.
That's
but
yeah, it's possible.
I could clearly see it. I could see Houston. I could clearly see that. Would it work? I don't know. But
or be like what Shaq said on at All-Star Weekend. Go to Golden State, get 3 more rings. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, if LeBron go to Golden State, I'm not watching basketball no more. I promise you. I will only watch 6 games. I won't watch anything else. If they in the finals, unless they play in the Sixers, I will not be watching. If he goes to Golden State. I'm telling you. Mark my words, guys. If something like that happens, I will not watch NBA playoffs outside of how far my Sixers go. Right. If the Sixers don't get to the finals and they facing Golden State, I ain't watching nothing else. No other games. Only games Sixers are involved in just because I'm a fan. But I would totally give it up in regards to being interested in the league.
Yeah.
Man, that'd be disappointing. But speaking of that, man, we can cover them real quick and then we can jump to the Clint thing, and that's probably all we got for the night. Hey, man, y'all saw my tweet after game 1. I said, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if these dudes mess around and get swept the way Houston was looking. And the reason why I said that, man, ironically, is they did exactly opposite in game 2. Game 1, to me, I was like, yo, that ISO ball ain't going to work, bro. Not to that degree. I mean, they were doing it so much, and it just wasn't working. Harden got the ball in his hands for 10, 15 seconds of the clock. And then once it breaks down and you're trying to hoist something up, wasn't working. Golden State was playing solid defense. And Golden State, I mean, we've seen these dudes play like this numerous times. The way they move the ball, man, even the way, Clay and Steph move without the ball. I mean, how many times have we seen already in these 2 games, well, at least in game 1, where Clay was cutting to the basket, back cuts. And Kevin Durant. Come on now. Listen. Smitty and I watched the closeout game last year together. We was at EA Play, and we had a good time. a whole lot of people was there. It was a big group of us. We watching it. And all we could do is shake our head. Kevin Durant was in such a zone in that game. It was like, yeah, he getting that ring. And even though I didn't like his decision, I don't hate Kevin Durant. Listen, that's today's NBA. Some people could say LeBron started it. I could say you could go back further than that, where technically, Garnett and Pierce and them did the same thing. They said, let's come together. And, it's today's NBA. Guys are moving around and such. I don't necessarily like it. I like the old days when guys would stick it out. But I guess we got to accept it. It's almost like how, and y'all know I always like to throw this as an example. It's almost like the new age hip-hop. Ain't really my thing. But what I'm going to do? This is what the kids are doing now. I listen to all the old, the hardcore, the old school I don't really listen to all these little young chumps. You know, it just ain't my thing. But, you know, some of it sound decent, but you just accept it. It is what it is. And that's today's NBA. Guys are going to team up, et cetera, et cetera. So I didn't like the decision, but I said, you know what, Smitty? I said to Smitty watching that game, I said, you know what, man? Without Kevin Durant, I don't think they win this finals. That dude was the truth last year. Now, looking at him in this playoffs already, and just this series, I ain't even talking about the other series because they just blew other teams out. You can't guard this dude, man. No. That wingspan, I mean, this kid, KD is unstoppable. He makes shots that look impossible, like almost behind the basket, and it just like. This dude is incredible. So first of all, I don't know. I said to myself, they have no answer for KD, and everybody else is getting the ball and back cuts and all of that. So I felt like with Houston not moving the ball and playing ISO ball, they won't go win. And I felt like if they stuck to that game plan, like D'Antoni said they was going to do, they was going to easily get swept up out of here. Lo and behold, last night, right?
Yeah.
Game 2. Whoa. Ball movement all of a sudden, even though they kept saying, oh, we're going to be us. All of a sudden, guys moving, the ball is out of his hand. You know, he still did a little ISO, which I'm cool with that every now and then. But it was times where, I mean, the ball's being passed, but I mean, it's only 6 seconds off the clock, and they already passing it around. There you go. Getting guys open. Now you got, you know, Golden State having to respect the shooters. You're getting guys like Tucker coming in the game early, draining threes. You know, everybody's hitting shots. Chris Paul is, in case you guys haven't noticed, this dude is trying to win, man. Like, you can see all of his frustration of all of them years not getting out of the first round. You can see it on the court. He's playing, he is balling. Like, he is trying to do what he can do. And now I'm saying, listen, man, if they could play like that, I'm not going to say that Golden State going to lay down or anything like that, but I think, Houston, in my opinion, in a 7-game series, if they can play the way they played last night, maybe not as many points. I'm just saying the style of play, I think they can get Golden State out of there. Possibly. Because what they showed us last night, Smitty, is what you hear all the time when they be like, let so-and-so get theirs. They going to let KD get his. You ain't going to stop him. Let him do his thing. DM up the best you can. But if you get 40, so what? I mean, if you can limit everybody else and your guys can score, you can win, just like they did last night. Will it be like 20-point games? Nah, I don't know about that. I think they'll be a little closer. Mm-hmm. I really think, man, if Houston can stick to their guns like they did last night, they have a shot. And this is going to be a very entertaining series to watch. And at this moment, Smitty, I recanted what I said, man, on Monday. I mean, the first game. Obviously, they're not going to get swept. And now I don't know. I don't know who's going to win it now because either one of these teams could punish the other at any given time. We could very well see a Game 3 blowout by the Warriors, Game 4 by Houston, Game 5 by the Warriors, Game 6 by Houston. I mean, it could very well come down to the 7th game. So
it could.
I'm excited to see it, man.
Yeah, I think Kia said this on Twitter, or somebody had said this on Twitter. I saw, like, to them, they were saying like Golden State taking that L is like they need to give themselves a challenge. So it's kind of like this was their bad game or their dud game where they kind of let off the gas a bit, didn't necessarily take it up or whatever. So now it's like, okay, now this is our challenge. We gotta turn up in these next 2 games, or we gotta turn up. We gotta really take it to these guys. Curry got sliced up by Paul and all that stuff. So it's like,
yeah, he did.
Like maybe that's what they're trying to do. But, it's good that they went ahead and got the 1 game and they turned it around. And like you said, ball movement. That's what every single analyst and everything across the board, everybody was saying that exact thing. Harden holding on to the ball too long. CP holding on to the ball. Like they're holding the ball too long. and other guys are just standing around. And that's the other thing too. Golden State was just standing around chilling because it's like, oh, we already know what he's about to do. Since he holding the ball that dang on long, he's not about to pass it. So they turned that whole entire equation on its head, and like you said, they kept their foot on the gas. Now, this is the thing. The numbers that they put up, do you really think that you're going to see PJ Tucker drop 20 plus for three more games in this series like that? Do you think that these guys are all going to give that kind of performance across the board like that?
Right.
And Golden State is going to lay eggs just like how they did this game. And look, the score was, yes, this was a nice size victory, but at the same time, it was more or less Golden State not converting. Not, hey man, you know what? Rockets just had our number. Like, no, you can make an argument. You can make an argument either way. But I'm just saying though, I don't know. Because these dudes, if they turn it up just enough, they can eke out the win. Whereas it'll be like the Rockets got to give all out effort. Golden State can give you 65, 70% and still possibly take that game from you. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. We'll have to see. But like you said, it's going to be a very entertaining series. I think that Golden State will win it, but I think it'll probably be a 6-game series. Maybe 7. You know what I'm saying? I would say the likelihood of this series going 7 a bit higher than the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right, though, man. I mean, the Warriors are one of those teams that you can legitimately say, oh, they had an off night. Like, you can legitimately say that about them throughout the season. Nah, they had an off night. Because it's just not often that both Clay and Steph, and well, Durant did his thing. But it's just not often that you're going to see a game where, you know, Steph and Durant is killing it. Or Durant and Clay. Or you know, Draymond is contributing with a few more points. It's just, you know, or Iguodala. You know, it's not normal to see that team not score as well as they can score, regardless of whoever the alpha guy is at the time on that game. You know, they can clearly bounce back. But I still feel like Houston has such firepower also that if they can keep up that type of game, I mean, I don't know if they can, but if they can, you know, they've scored a ton of threes throughout the season. I mean, if they could keep that going, they have a chance to beat Golden State. I just hope it's a good series, man. I hope last night wasn't an aberration. I hope we see good games from here on out. And whoever wins, wins. If I'm being biased just to what I want to see, I don't want to see Cleveland or Golden State in the finals.
In the finals? Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. We've seen it so many times. You know, it's like, all right, you know, I want to see some more teams go at it. You know, like, however, I would like to see little scrappy Boston go against Golden State, though. That could be a little interesting. That could be a fly up and down the court. Because them young boys ain't scared, man. They like, whatever. Whoever y'all put in front of us. And I love that kind of, you know, I love that tenacity from them. And again, I said my Sixers was young, but Boston just got a little something extra. They just a little more refined than Philly. And you know, they got Brad Stevens doing his thing. But yeah, man, if I had it my way, I would love to see Houston and Boston. Why not? Let's see 2 new teams. You know, why not see the number 1 team in the NBA versus a team that could have been the number 1 team in the East? Go at it. Why not? But it's probably going to be the Warriors and Warriors in Boston, and you know, it's almost like it's almost like the Patriots, man. It's like I don't hate no team. Like, you know, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't hate the Patriots. They're good.
Yeah.
What I'm hating for? Like, let's be honest. They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no room to hate. You can say all you want, but they fine. We can all pull the stuff in there and say, oh, they cheat. Listen, man. The stuff that they have done that has been cheating, that has not been the reason why these guys have been this successful these many years. It ain't that much cheating in the world. You know, I hate those sides of them just like the next man, but at the end of the day, you have to respect that they're a good team. They're always in the hunt. You know, and I could even say that about Pittsburgh. You know, Steelers fans, we get upset because we don't win the Super Bowl every year, but what team does? I mean, we always right there, though. We always got a shot, and that's probably going to end pretty soon, too, folks. just giving y'all a heads up. I'm just saying, Mason Rudolph might not necessarily be the guy. When Ben is gone, who knows what type of team we're going to have. But you get tired of seeing the same thing. You know, like, that's why I wanted the Falcons to win that Super Bowl. I'm like, come on, man. I'm tired of seeing the Patriots. You know, and that's how I feel about basketball, man. I'm tired of seeing Golden State. I appreciate the team they've built, that Mark Jackson built.
Yeah.
Give Steve Kerr his coaching credit, but come on. You know, I appreciate what they did. I've kept my eye on Golden State ever since the year when, you know, Baron Davis dunked on old boy and threw his shirt up.
Yeah.
And since that team, I was like, yo, I like the scrappiness that they show. And they've turned into this team. Can't deny it. They're great. But I want to see somebody else compete for the championship. That's just me personally. But anyway, guys, that's about it. I think Smitty and I probably agree that more than likely we're probably going to see the Celtics and the Warriors. And then the Warriors will probably edge out the Celtics. I say maybe it goes 6 in the finals. You know, I just feel that way. I just feel like if Golden State smells the blood in the water, and if they can get a couple games up on Boston, you know, we're just saying if that were to happen, then I think they get them out of there in 6. Boston probably will put up a great effort, but I think they'll get them out of there. Because KD, ain't nobody can guard him anyway, but I don't see Boston will expend a lot of energy trying to stop him. For sure.
And that's just him.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, we're going to wrap up with the Clint news, man. Again, like I said, you know, why it's slow. You know, we try to allow a 2-hour slot, but it doesn't always go 2 hours, guys. You know, hey, that's the beauty of a podcast. We talk until there's nothing else to talk about, and during these lull periods, you know, we got to try to find topics. So we'll cover the Clint stuff, man. I guess I'll kick it off because I know Smitty wants to go into a few other things in regards to Madden, so I'll definitely want to give him the bulk of the time. Listen, man, this is the good news in my opinion. And actually, let me tell y'all this as well. Smitty is also going to mention another change that I had forgotten about. I actually knew, but I kind of forgot, and Smitty reminded me about it. Another change from the Madden team who's now working on NBA Live. So I'll let him introduce that. But anyway, here's the good news for Madden 19, for people who were wondering. Everybody, as soon as Rex left, you know, I see all these people, oh, how's that going to affect Madden 19 and da-da-da-da. And I'm thinking, if we all know anything about these games, I mean, even if as a casual fan, we all should kind of know by the time Rex announced that he was no longer there, Madden 19 was well in production. I mean, probably very close to being done, you know, than it would be not being done. So I found it odd that, you know, it was so much talk around that. And I'm like, guys, he even put that in his thing. At the end of it, you know, he put his time in the games he worked on. He even included 19 for Madden. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe you just missed it. But anyway, for you guys who are worried about that, Clint Oldenburg now has been promoted to the lead gameplay designer. This was once Rex's position, not the position that Rex just left. Rex was the creative director of Madden. Before that, Rex was the creative director of gameplay. But then there was a time when Rex was the lead designer of gameplay. So Clint has filled that position. In terms of if there's going to be another creative director, I don't know. I'm hearing there will be. That's all I'm going to say on that. You know, I can't go too far down that road because obviously there is some things I've heard, guys. But, you know, I can't say nothing until they do. But I'll say this, even the people that I'm possibly hearing, I've never met this person. So let's say that. So it's still going to be new to me as well. But what does this mean for Madden 19 and Madden going forward? I think this is great news, man. I think we haven't, I mean, it hasn't been too many times when me and Smitty talk about the worth or the appreciation we have for guys like Rex and Clint. It hasn't been too many shows that we haven't said that. Though these have been the guys that kind of broke the mold of the old way in terms of right up in your face, commenting, interacting, telling you the truth, you know, being very open. And, you know, of course, somebody's going to hear me say that and say, oh, Rex lied. Man, listen, everybody has their own opinion on stuff. I personally don't feel like Rex or Clint has lied to me at all since I've been involved. I'm sure Smitty shares that. Everything that they have told us has been the reality. Even things like stuff that was supposed to come that hasn't, and stuff that is coming that will come, and stuff that, again, that got pushed back that will come later. The timeline has been right there. They've always been open and frank. Even when I say, why didn't this happen? They say, oh, well, this is not happening because X, Y, and Z. Now, you know, some people might say, well, some of the stuff they advertise doesn't work that way. Well, I can't deny that. There's plenty of games we can say that about. But for the most part, I feel like they've delivered on what they told us was coming for the current product. You know, the execution of it is a totally different story. But anyway, why it's important, man, and I feel like it's a good thing that a guy like Clint gets at least the lead gameplay design position, is because we all know that he shared Rex's vision for the most part. We all know that Clint is a simulation guy. He wants football. Y'all have heard him say this even in interviews where he says, well, that's not necessarily real to football. Now, that's a Madden thing that so-and-so is asking for, but that's not how it actually happens in the real world. So I just say all that to say this. It's good to still have a guy like that in that type of position that we at least know there's going to be people there fighting for the integrity of whatever the design is or whatever the site or the vision is for the game going forward. Does that mean that he has all the control? Absolutely not. We all know that. Rex didn't have all the control, i.e. the reason why creative differences have had him go this way and the higher ups are continuing to go this way. But I still think that having somebody that is all about the real deal, who's played football, was an NFL player, got to keep that intact. The rest of the team is still intact. The A-Dubs and the Scants, all these other people that we talk about. So I think that's a good thing. Because y'all know, for you guys that are in a corporate, type of field, when people come in, they usually bring in their own people. It happens at my job all the time. I mean, our HR department has completely revamped because this one lady came in as a director and she brought her folks with her. So it's good to see that the team that we're familiar with at the moment appears to be that they're still going to be intact. And I think the game is in good hands, man, in terms of what the devs want to do. Because even though, guys, you hear us say all the time, look, it's over their heads. Let me kind of explain this again, what that means. We're not saying that they can't get anything done. When we say stuff is over their head, it's like, for example, you guys know y'all already know I've gone down to EA this year and all of that. So I'll give you a perfect example. There's stuff that I asked about, excuse me, that was actually on the table for Madden 19, but they couldn't get to it. I was like, why is that? Now, I'm not going to give you guys any type of clue or hint as to what it was, so don't try to pry into, this is not the normal, Sim tries to take us as far as he can. No. I'm just, there's no way you're going to guess what I'm talking about, and it's not anything I'm sad about or nothing like that. I'm just giving you an example of these type of conversations. So there's a feature that, speaking to a guy, like, hey, man, we was thinking about doing this. I had it all ready to go. I had it drawn up, had the idea. Can't make it happen this time. And basically, what happens is like any other job. They have a production meeting. Everybody comes in with their ideas. This is what we want to do. And they have to present it. They literally have to present what they want to do. You have the higher-ups that's saying, let's see, how long is it going to take to do it? I'll pay this salary. It's going to take this amount of time. It'll take 5 engineers to do that. And well, I don't know if we can afford to do that right now. I could give you 2 engineers. And feel free to get done whatever you can get done with the 2. It's basically like that. So when you hear Clint and these guys say stuff like, we didn't have the resources this year, or, we couldn't fit that into the cost this year. That's what we're saying. It's not, because most people, Smitty, they hear cost and they think, oh, but EA is $1 billion company. It has nothing to do with that, man. It's on a more basic level than that. You know what I mean? And it's stuff like that. So I say all that to say this, is it doesn't mean that the game is not going to still deliver things that we want. I can honestly tell you that now, that I'm sure there's going to be things that we're going to see in the next game that people will be, oh, great. And every year going forward, as long as the vision stays, the way it seems to be staying, great, man. If somebody comes in and totally changes it, that's a different story. And y'all know Smitty and I will be the first ones to say, man, I'm going to tell you, this thing ain't going it ain't nothing like it used to be. We'll tell you that straight up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's great, man, to keep a guy like Clint, keep that, where I know he wants to take the game. And, you hear him talk about, I always hang on to the fact that he says he really talks about AI and he's really big on stuff like that. So, as long as they're able to do these things, I think the game is in a good spot. And it's just good to, promote within. A guy that's already been there, it's great to reward him. So I think for that we could be appreciative. For all of us who appreciated what Rex did, then we could share that appreciation for what I'm sure Clint would be able to do in his role. So just my thoughts on that one. Yeah. What you got, Smitty?
I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with everything to say about it. I mean, Clint has been an upstanding guy. We've said, I don't know how many times over, about how much we appreciate Clint along with Rex in this community. So, sorry, my phone ringing. But, we appreciate both Rex and Clint, what they did, what they're doing. And with Clint taking this higher role now, like you said, like the vision, and even seeing it in the comment section here in the chat, that vision is intact, because they're both 2 peas in a pod with the thought process in terms of what they want to deliver. So it's just that you heard Rex a lot more than you heard Clint in terms of, getting on Twitch and doing streams and chatting with a bunch of people and responding to online and all that. But Clint still is of that exact same mindset that I want to get this game to this level. I want to get that football experience that we truly want, that authenticity. So I just hope that, like I said, like what Sim was saying, the obstacles that him and the team will have to face, I hope that he's able to take that, to take the reign and still continue to press onward as much as he can. So now, but I will say this, what's going to have to happen, because, we said this last year after EA Play and everything, the game all of a sudden changed. You know what I'm saying? We were all pleased with it. Tournament guys, too, they were cool with their avenue.
Yeah.
We were extremely happy with our avenue. And to see what had happened, was disappointing, and it was upsetting. So what I'm going to say is this main part right here. The difficulty level has to stay, okay? The learning curve has to be there. I'm gonna say it at EA Play, knowing that that was my first experience seeing them do a move like that. But I'm gonna say, I'm like, look, whatever it is y'all do, especially if I'm pleased with it, hey, that's what I'm straight up saying. Don't touch it, okay? Just clean it up and don't touch it. Don't mess with the game. Don't do all that extra stuff. Leave it alone, okay? This is tight. If anything, make it tighter. And I'll say this. There's this game in Fortnite, right? And even though it's a free-to-play game and everything, I understand. But people are putting money into that game. They're putting money into it. So
Fortnite is smart in what they're doing, man.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So what people are doing, and you got kids playing it, you got adults playing it, all age groups are playing that game. Fortnite is hard, okay? Fortnite is a very challenging game, and people are all over it. But then you'll have some of those same people come over to Madden and such and play those games, and then they're like, oh, this is too hard. Oh, no, you guys can't do this. You got to tune it, guys. Like, no, that can't be the case now. Fortnite is challenging. It's difficult. You got people getting excited off of just getting 5 to 10 kills in a game. Like, I'm hearing people in the chat when I play, I just started getting into it, and I'm hearing people in the chat going, man, I got 13 kills in the game, man. Like, they're celebrating that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a big deal that they got that many. I'm like, yo, I'm used to, playing games like Call of Duty and Battlefield where dudes were getting 49, 50 kills and all kinds of stuff or whatever at times. And here you go. You got this game. Dudes, it's that dog eat dog of a game. Well, football is a dog eat dog sport. And if we're talking about having that authenticity in the game, you have the levels there now. So I want to see simulation. I want to see, I want to see simulation. I want to see the comp play. Like, let those avenues really be distinctive, but don't turn the game down. I don't want to see any of that stuff get turned down at all. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I've seen those 2K. I've seen what Kia's saying. Those 2K Elite games. Those games look garbage right now. Those games look bad.
Hold on, Smitty. Hold on, because last time you did that, they said, oh, there goes Smitty. That's his go-to. He like to bash 2K every time, and it's crazy to me because, what did y'all think? I want to hear what the chat has to say. Have y'all seen any of those games, and what was your thoughts on it? Because anytime Smitty or I say something like that, that's our defense mechanism. Like, we trying to bash 2K, which is crazy. Because as much as we play 2K.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, it looks bad. Guys are standing around on the court. Like, I'm wondering to an extent, like, how are these guys the best when you got, and I'm just saying this in the context of these dudes are standing around the court. They're standing around playing iso ball on the court, just playing iso ball. One dude standing up at the top of the arc, and you got dudes taking 3-pointers from the parking lot and all that stuff. And it's like, what are these guys really doing? Like, I want to see dudes run offense. I want to see guys running plays. I want to see guys doing more. It's like what they're doing in these games is not much different than what you see at the park. It's just maybe not as many shenanigans, but that's it. Like, no one's really doing moves. And that's just like what Kia said. No one's really doing moves. So I'm not understanding what these guys are doing. Like, it looks like a bad showcase to me right now, what they got going on out there. And yes, like you said, the ball. And see, this is the other thing about it, and I'm glad you guys are saying it in the chat. When it comes to these games on the esports stage, they're going to get exposed in a major way. We've said this about Madden, I don't know how many times. The exact same thing is happening with NBA 2K now. You know what I'm saying? With them having this league, you're going to see the bad ball morphing. You're going to see the shifting, the zigzagging, like you're saying, the zigzag dribbling. you're going to see all these aspects of the game are going to end up looking bad. The game's not going to look as good as, you know what I mean, as people make it out to be. And this is the kind of stuff that I've said, Sim said, we've all said, especially 205. We brought this point, esports with Madden. This is going to help our cause because the game is going to get exposed on that big stage. And now we're like, look, you got to make this game look like Sunday because that's how your game's really going to excel and how it's going to really look good is by making it look more authentic on that field of play. That's it. That's the key. It can't be looking like hot garbage out there. You know, you can't be having all kinds of shifts, warps, slides, and unrealistic things on the field and people celebrating it like it's something good. I'm like, dudes up here, you know, I'm watching some of the Twitch streams and dudes up here banging tables and all that stuff. I'm like, dog, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Man. Like, y'all not doing anything serious out here to be like, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Yeah, I'm like, dudes, relax. Like, come on now. I know y'all playing for some bread. I get that. But the game overall is not, it does not look that good right now on that stage. But it's good, though, in the sense of it getting exposed. And now they're going to have to make it look more like basketball because people in the community, like, you know, especially guys that are, you know, big-time basketball guys, have been saying how the game has went more and more away from legit basketball. And it's been more catering to the park stuff, more catering to the my career stuff. So we need to see, this is how you end up getting the game looking and feeling and playing on that level a lot better. So that's what they need to do. So, you know, but that's my main thoughts on it. We got to see that challenge level. We got to see that learning curve actually kick in. With the gameplay and the authenticity, it's got to kick in, man. It can't just keep being, well, let's make it simple. Let's make it easy. Because I got to shout out Jamel Flow on that. He did a video making the point, that exact point. The same point we've been making many times over. So that's all I'm just saying. That's what they need to do. They need to go ahead and make it real. They need to make it a legit challenge and not nerf it so then the skill gap just goes from being a potential legitimate skill gap to just basically being one-to-one. Everybody's on a level playing field pretty much. Got to change that. So I'll throw it back to you, man.
Yeah, man. So all in all, man, it just comes down to, you know, I'm happy with what we have as far as the team. Those guys are still intact. And, yeah. We'll just have to see how everything is delivered, man, because, again, EA play last year was quite disappointing. And I understand that they said there were some things going on. There were some bugs and such that made the game play better, but the defense never got back to what, you know, any of us experienced. You know, anytime us along with, you know, other guys are like, you know, other sim guys and tournament guys and comp guys, you know, guys like Relly and Lights Out and Zan, you know, all of these different guys that played, shout outs to Hollywood Sports, different people were saying the same thing about the game, you know, so, you know, you can say bugs all you want. And, you know, I've had some conversation offline and I get it, you know, a lot of times when you get pressure from up top, you know what I mean? You know, you got to move accordingly, if you understand what I'm saying. You can't always go against the grain. If you do, then your bosses are going to call you in the office, and y'all going to have a nice little talk, and, you know, you continue to do it. Hey, maybe y'all part ways. Huh? I'm just saying, but the gameplay integrity just has to stay intact. You know, I've been saying over and over and over, my concern is not with this development team. That used to be my concern back in, let's see. My concern was that of the dev team up until June of 2012. All right? June of 2012 was the first time that I got invited down to EA Sports. I had an opportunity to meet the developers and get an understanding as far as how the game works, etc., etc. I was invited back down that following August. Was able to capture some footage. If you guys remember that was way back when we were putting out videos even a couple weeks before the game launched. No approval or nothing. We were just uploading them straight from the console. Shortly after that, they extended the invitation for me to be a game changer, and there you have it. But up until that point, I was just like anybody else. I'm thinking, oh, what are they doing? They don't know what they're doing. But once I got a chance to meet these guys on the staff, I met Rex and everybody else I talk about, Anthony White, Mike Scanaberry, my man Rod. It's numerous guys, man. I mean, I'm not even, naming them all. Clint and Larry Rehard and a bunch of people, man. You start meeting these guys and understanding what they want. Vic Lugo was there at the time. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's not you guys. Now I understand. Y'all know exactly what y'all doing. Like a whole lot of guys on that, that team that's played football. Larry Rehard was a quarterback at Florida. Obviously Clint, Rex played football. There's numerous other guys. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think Anthony White may have coached at some point in his time. This dude's football acumen is off the charts. I mean, he's very, very good friends with like Pep Hamilton. I mean, they're actual friends. Just to give you an idea of, you see when he's posting these tweets and all these coaching forums and things he's invited to, this guy's knowledge would rack your brain. So it's not them. It's always, they're always working with what they're allowed to work on. And that's basically how it goes. So we'll see. I just hope that, when this game is presented next month, less than a month now, what's the day? The day is the 17th? Yeah, a little less than a month. EA Play is kicking off on the 9th, I believe, 9th through the 11th. So we'll see. And I can't wait till you guys can get some news so I can start talking. Y'all know this is the toughest time of the year, man, when I can't really say anything. So I just can't wait until you guys start getting some information. Hopefully there's some information that comes out even before EA Play. We'll see. And then I can start talking about some of these things. Of course, y'all know the routine, man. When it comes out, I can talk about it. I can confirm it and all that. But, just kind of how everything works. We can't give reviews and things like that until, embargo dates are lifted. So even if once and y'all know we go through this every year, but I'm just trying to always keep you guys educated on that. Once the news comes out, I can talk about it. I'll make a video on it, and we'll do the show. And we'll give you our experience, etc., etc. And then, once the game gets closer to launch, then we'll do a review and things like that. So y'all know how it goes. But anyway, guys, before we wrap up, there was one other thing I wanted to mention. I see it here in the comments. I told you guys I would get to it. So I'll bring it back to what's leading up to this conversation. We did see that Fight Night is now on the list for being backwards compatible on the Xbox, so that's great. For you guys who still want to play Fight Night Champion and you have a current console like myself, I no longer have a 360. That's great news. However, I would much prefer a brand new Fight Night game. I would much prefer that than to play the older one, because trust me, a lot of you guys know I'm as big of a boxing fan as I am a football fan, and trust me, there's a ton wrong with Fight Night. I mean, they would probably get sick of me with my feedback if I was in a session for Fight Night. So many things that it doesn't do that replicates boxing, and it might be kind of hard, the kind of stuff I would want to see. But anyway, that's good news. But it leads me to this point. So some of you guys are asking whether or not NCAA will return. Will it be backwards compatible NCAA 14? I don't have any information on that, but I'm going to give you guys an interesting take on it. I don't have any actual information on it, but here's the interesting thing. Well, first, let me give you the information that I heard. The last thing that I heard as to why it hasn't returned is I heard it just wasn't enough demand for it. Because you remember way back when there was a list out of the votes and all of that, and they were kind of deciding on which games they would bring back. I don't know if that's really the end all be all. I think it still has something to do with the company, the publisher, as well as licensings and things like that. I'm pretty sure since the NCAA has gone through their ordeal with the lawsuits and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure that some of that stuff will come back into play if people were largely playing the same game again. I'm just assuming. However, here's my interesting take on it, guys. Let me see what y'all think. I'm going to throw a conspiracy theory out there. So, one of the guys here in the chat, let me get his name right. Deshaun the Beast. My man Deshaun the Beast said he got news, or at least he heard some news, that NCAA will be returning on the Xbox One, and it will be backwards compatible. I believe it was Deshaun that said that. Deshaun. Now, I see a couple of guys went back and forth with him saying, no, that's not true, and, how do you know, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just assume that what Deshaun said, and shouts out to Deshaun, let's assume what he's saying is correct. Here's my conspiracy theory. There's this game that most of us know about. IMV gaming, right? Gridiron Champions, okay? We've heard about this game for a few years now, and none of us knew what really would happen, but all of a sudden, within this last month or so, maybe no more than that ago, we heard that now it is going to be a product. They've gotten some backing in excess, or about 10 million or so. There's rumors that they'll be working with Big Ant Studios. And they're still, campaigning the whole bring back college football. And, they're saying that the first year, won't be real teams. Obviously, they're going to make things customizable. And what they're hoping to do is by the second iteration of Gridiron Champions, they'll have licensing. That's what they're hoping. Here's my conspiracy theory. What if EA Sports got wind of this and they say, oh yeah, nah, that ain't happening. You know why? What we gonna do is we're gonna allow our game, which was largely welcomed by many fans. What we're gonna do is now allow this game to be backwards compatible. People will then play that, which most of us would assume they would be in a better position than a brand new Gridiron Champions. And what will more than likely happen, if we can play NCAA on current consoles, well, assuming Xbox One would be the only one, I guess, now. But if we can play that on a current console, and then you start getting those folks that I'm sure would still be doing it, because I'm sure the one now on the old gen, people are still updating the roster. You still have all of that in there, roster share and all of that. Now people are creating rosters again. Guess what's going to happen? More people will probably go back and play the old NCAA in comparison to IMV. And the only reason why I'm saying that, now I keep saying IMV, that's the name of the gaming company, but in comparison to Gridiron Champions, because I could only assume that Gridiron Champions is not going to be on that kind of level, folks. So if this news is true, like I said, I'm just throwing a conspiracy theory out there. What if EA has decided to somehow make it backwards compatible, since people are saying they've heard that this is coming, to shut down Gridiron Champions? You never know. Because Smitty stepped away for a moment. What I was saying here really quick, Smitty, before we wrap up, is people were asking, do I think NCAA will be the next backwards compatible game? And Deshaun the Beast actually posted that he has news. He just got news that it will be. So I said I'm going to take a conspiracy theory on this, and I said, well, what if EA as a whole, they got wind of this Gridiron Champions, who's saying that they're going to bring back college football, and by the next season, the next version of the game, they're trying to get licensing and such. And most of us would believe that a new game probably won't be on the level of NCAA 14. So what if somehow EA is being greedy and they're like, no. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get this game to be backwards compatible, and it's going to make your little game fizzle out.
Could.
Could be.
They could. But on the other hand, with that, though, at the same time, what they could take it up another level and do one even better. If these dudes are able to actually get some kind of collegiate licensing, you know, if for IMV, you think EA's not going to?
Right.
If they could go ahead and do that, you think EA won't jump on that opportunity as well? Especially considering if you can legitimately put colleges in this game and you're letting people create and customize, there's going to have to be some kind of line in the sand there, you know, with the wording or at least with the rules as far as the conditions, as far as what you'll be able to do with the game. So, I mean, I'm assuming this, of course, but, you know, I'm just saying, like, just logically thinking, you never know. So, and yeah, if NCAA does get on, I mean, I don't know, you know, it'll, like I said, they could do that to fizzle out people because you see with Fight Night right now, people are jumping on that right now because they just made that backwards compatible. So, yeah, you do the NCAA thing. I mean, look, the game isn't coming out until 2020.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know if NCAA with some visual upgrade potential is going to all of a sudden hold the mass crowd over to be like, to pull away from IMV. They could do that as a little debuff, though. It wouldn't be a bad little debuff to be like, hey, you guys could play this in 4K, this NCAA over here. You got the colleges and you could update rosters and all that. Because, like with Fight Night, they just didn't bring the game back over and just say, hey, you guys can play your game here. The boxer share is up. All the online capability, at least from what I saw on Twitter, I don't know the full extent, but the boxer share is up. So if you can still play people head to head,
wow,
just saying. Now you're gonna have people playing it. So you would have that game with the collegiate licensing, and you can update it, or you can go ahead. That's gonna put more pressure on IMV.
Yeah,
pretty much. That'll put a heck of a lot more pressure on IMV in terms of what they'd have to produce. So. Well, we'll see.
A theory. It's just
it's
a theory,
theoretical. Yep.
Who knows? I'm just
speculation.
Just saying, who knows? But that would be, to me, that would be the super crazy chess move. Like, because they don't even have the reason why I say that would be the craziest chess move of all time, because the EA don't have to do that. Like they should not be under any threat or concern of an IMV gaming and gridiron champion. None whatsoever. So if they were to mess around and do that purposely, hate it or love it, I'd just be like, wow, like, checkmate. Like, they're like, no. Sit down. Be humble. Like, chill out. Because we going to come back when we come back with NCAA. And here's the funny thing. This is the last thing I'm going to say, man. Then we'll get up out of here. Mm-hmm. Just commenting to my man Lucky. I never understand the theory of those who say they love NCAA and hate Madden, right? Now, I know there's different reasons why you like NCAA, but I'm just talking about just on the field. Because he made a comment, he said that if NCAA comes out, Madden sales would drop. No, there's no chance that Madden sales drop when NCAA football comes back to EA. If anything, especially us guys, let's be honest. Let's be honest, sim crowd, for a minute. You telling me that us extreme sim heads that like drafting and all of that ain't going to pick up NCAA and Madden if we choose to buy the games so we can import draft classes, etc.?
Shoot.
Come on. There's no way an NCAA game is not going to decrease the sales of Madden. NCAA was always the little brother. Most people in this community and most of us here on this show tonight and in the comments had both when we were playing those games. Yep. There's not too many people who played NCAA only. Some might have reverted to that later. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm not going to say you shouldn't have. It was a pretty decent game. But the gameplay itself was built on the same structure. Same exact structure. Almost the same exact team. And what team do you think will be building NCAA if they come back? The Madden team. I can tell you right now, it's going to be one team. They might expand a little bit, but it would basically be the same core people doing gameplay. So I never understood that, Smitty. And I think, the feel of NCAA was different, but I think a lot of people missed this component. They made it feel like that. They made it more wide open and loose because that's college. So Madden and NCAA never was supposed to play alike. But it's funny when I used to watch people like break down stuff, and I'm like, that same thing happens in Madden. It's in both games. Like, remember when Apex used to do the videos that what we used to call it, the potty. Remember the dudes, remember that crazy sit, like the way they animated. All of that stuff it's the same engine. They ran on the same exact thing. Yeah. So it always cracked me up. Now I'm not saying that people couldn't like NCAA more, because you might just prefer that style of game, and you might have preferred the college arena, and we all agree. NCAA has some more depth, because NCAA 14, I still love that game for the deep dynasty and the recruiting, and I get all of that. But I'm just talking about gameplay only. And how many people I've come across that said they completely hate Madden, but was in love with NCAA. And Smitty and I and Azure have made numerous videos from back then showing the same problems in both games, because it was the same gameplay engine. I just never understood that, but that's just my little piece on that. I don't think an NCAA product doesn't slow down Madden.
No.
Not at all.
It complements it at best. It's not going to stop it or slow it down. That's not going to be the case.
Not at all. But yeah, that's it, man. Deshaun says the same game, very dumb misconception. Listen, everybody has their own opinions, and I know sometimes it's when you're upset with one thing, you want to reach to another. But they were the same game, man, for the most part. It's just they played a little different. You know what it was? In layman's terms, it was just like, even though this might not be the best example, but in theory, it was just like comp, sim, and arcade. All it was, NCAA just played different in a different setting.
Well, the other thing, too, though, is that the competition for recruits in the game, that was huge. You had players that would transfer out, go to other schools. You had players that would potentially leave, go to the NFL draft. So it's like you had that cyclical element on your dynasties when you did your online dynasties. That's something you did not have in Madden. You couldn't do it.
That's
exactly. That's the depth. Yeah, it's the depth that was in NCAA, because you see people that are still doing NCAA. They build their own fantasy storylines and they incorporate it into the game. They make their stuff up along with what the game actually had. And that's the big thing that was separate with NCAA. There was always a big deal about draft classes. That's why people are saying, oh, we need to be able to create our own draft classes in Madden and all that. NCAA was a big, that's NCAA basically. Yeah. That's the NCAA rich feature right there.
They had it all. Huge. The studio updates, and I wanted to comment on what NBA Live Philly just said. Rex said that was his best game, but y'all got to understand he's talking about the whole collective.
Yeah.
And that's not what me and Smitty clearly on board with that. I'm talking about gameplay specifically. People have argued me up and down saying that NCAA's gameplay was leaps and bounds better than Madden. I'm like, how? I just didn't. I never understood that. And I could show you right now. I could go pull old videos and repost them and show y'all. It's the same game. They just played a little differently. But like Smitty said, what makes NCAA fun, even now, is the depth. Us CFM guys love NCAA. I wouldn't want nothing more than to have that pitch system, when you pitching recruits and all of that. And morph that into an NFL style to re-sign your players and free agent. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying.
You know that one of my biggest features that I want, Smitty, too? I got one of them. We got the game coach adjustments. That was one I pounded the table for years. But here's another very simple one, and I don't understand why we haven't seen it yet. Composure.
Yes.
When are we gonna have that composure element in Madden? You remember that, guys, when your young guys or the guys who want stars, you ain't playing in Clemson or somewhere, and it's loud and the lines are squiggly, and even your receivers would come to the line like, I can't hear you. You couldn't call audibles. That's home field advantage. That's living worlds. How has the Madden team missed that? I don't get it. I mean, I get it and I don't get it. But see, at the same time though, Sim, it's the NFL factor. Yeah. What about NFL and their feeling about them doing it? See, NCAA, they're not supposed to be reflecting the actual athletes. So it's a more open template. Like, oh, we got Alabama's theme songs, we got their stadium replicated, we got their jerseys and such, but the players are all just supposed to be fantasy. Their coach is supposed to be fantasy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's where the differentials come in, where the NFL is like, it's supposed to be spot on, these players, this stadium, and that's it. Because remember, back they had the attendance thing. You would see stadiums that would be empty, and you had NFL team owners complain about that. And they're like, hey, I don't want my stadium looking empty in the game. So that was something that EA wanted to do, and they had to scrap it because of how the NFL felt. So that's what I'm saying. To an extent, the NFL plays a role in that. Like, what if you had a team like the Browns, and they always have bad composure? They always got real poor composure, and guys, other than Joe Thomas, your O-line is pretty garbage. You know what I'm saying? Well, before he retired. But I'm just saying, like, that if you had those elements in the game, you're talking about actual NFL players with that going on. You'll have some people that may feel a certain way about that. And, they don't want that stuff in their game. That could be the reason why we haven't seen composure yet. But I would love to see composure. I know they got the confidence thing, but real talk, that composure system worked phenomenally great in NCAA. So it would make perfect sense to be in Madden, especially play in Seattle, the 12th man. Oh man, toughest
arenas to play in, kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, you gotta have that, man. That's in NCAA. You know what I'm saying?
NCAA had it.
Had it, yeah.
And that's what we're saying, guys. And again, that's where Rex's comment came from. He's talking about the full package. That's what he's talking about. But again, I'm not gonna argue or debate because everybody's opinion is different. What I'm saying is my opinion. What some of you guys are saying are y'all's opinion. But one thing that is a fact, I'm telling you this for a fact: the same gameplay team worked on both games.
Yep.
So there was not two separate gameplay engines for those games. So I don't know what was different. Like I said, everybody's opinion is theirs. Some people say it felt better. It might did, because again, they designed, because they literally told us this in person. Yeah, well, college, it was designed to feel a little different because it's supposed to feel a little more like college football on field. But it was the same gameplay engine. It was just tuned different. Identical gameplay engine. But like Smitty said, what makes that game better to me is the immersion. That's what made NCAA so fun. And where Madden was starting to lack. Because there used to be a time where Madden was the big brother, but then NCAA started catching it. And it's just unfortunate, that, I don't know, maybe NCAA still being around would have pushed or would have allowed the higher-ups or whatever to, get back on board with doing more in Madden. Because now, maybe that's the piece. That they know they got to do extra stuff in Madden because they just released the game in July. I don't know, but that's all we got for tonight, man. Great show. I don't know how we filled out this amount of time with those little topics, but we did. And again, man, if you guys want to come on to the show, our format now is Skype. Hit either one of us up on Twitter. You guys that are watching now know our Twitter names. Hit us up. All we need is your Skype address and username. We'll bring you on. Or if you just want to share some topics for the following week. And I don't know when, guys, but I'm definitely over the next, let's say, 6 months or so, I'm going to try to work on getting a better computer to be able to more handle streams, because, you know, it sucks when I see nights like tonight where it seems like we're lagging behind a little bit and dropping frames. So we'll figure all that out going forward as well. But outside of that, Smitty, did you have anything else before we wrap?
If anybody didn't catch it earlier, I mean, I know it's a trailer and all that stuff. I know some people may feel a certain way about it, but that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 looks very promising, especially with that blackout mode that they got in the game, which basically, and see, this is the stuff we talk about while we love competition in the marketplace. We love that kind of stuff because Fortnite with their Battle Royale and everything, pretty much, they're duplicating it with their own Call of Duty way. They're going to have a mode called Blackout, which they're going to have a pretty vast, expansive map with you're going to have different characters that span across all the Black Ops titles, land, sea, and air weaponry vehicles that you're going to be able to utilize. And this game is boots on ground. No wall jumps, no boost jumping, no none of that stuff. So it looks promising what they're doing. It seems like this may be the last game that, I don't know if Treyarch's making it or whatever, but whomever or Activision is doing it. But whomever it is that's making the game, they're going all out with this. I mean, they're going all the way out. Like, they have a dedicated, specific PC version of the game, and which you can max out all your settings. They got particular servers they're working with and all that stuff for that side. And then you got the console version. So it's like they're doing a lot of stuff with it. But next week we got the Battlefield 5 reveal. So that's going to be very interesting. In that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one I'm really looking forward to because they've been teasing that boy for a minute.
I'm biased, bro. I'm sorry. Hey. Y'all can call me I'm Battlefield. I am biased. Point blank. And another game gotta take me away from it. I don't. Hey, that's my game, man.
Yeah,
I love Battlefield. Well, I'm gonna check out that Black Ops though. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll see. Like I said, the trailers don't really mean nothing to me. It's more it means something from a tease standpoint, and it's nice to hear what they're doing for the guys that are diehard fans. But you know, it all comes down to the gameplay, and that's it. What they do, but we already know what to expect with Battlefield on a base level. They're going to give us that authenticity. They're going to give us a lot. Like, they're going to give us some action-packed stuff.
Yes, sir.
We already know that's happening. It's just a matter of how they're going to do it. So I can't wait to see my man Trevor Noah go up there and, you know, break it out, whatever it is that they showcase. I didn't seen guys on the Battlefield team teasing about it, and they're like, oh, man, I can't wait till y'all see it.
Why they doing it next week, though, and not? I wonder why they won't wait until EA play or E3.
Well, they're just teasing the trailer. I don't know. They announced it was supposed to be on like the 22nd or 23rd. They're supposed to be announcing the trailer and all that. So I don't know if they have I don't know if they're doing something like what Call of Duty did. Like, they had a particular event where they're going to unveil this. I don't know if that's what they're doing. But I mean, hey, that's cool. That's good. Because usually, well, I know we're not used to it now, but back then, that's when we would usually get the teases. Like, we would have had Madden news already at this point.
Yeah.
We would have, by now, we would have heard something. So to see Battlefield, that's cool to at least see something.
Come on, EA,
especially
slowing down my videos now.
Yeah.
We could be making vids about this stuff now. Yeah. So, you know what?
Wait.
Real quick, I gotta go, guys. We won't be able to cover it tonight, but we actually forgot. The NBA Live Philly. We will definitely cover this next week. He says, will Sean Grady make a difference for live since we know about him? So we'll hold that until next week. We meant to cover that tonight, but once you get the rambling, things happen. But yeah, we'll cover that next week. But I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta go to work tomorrow. Can't complain though, one day a week. But I got quite a ways to travel. So Yeah, man. Well, let's take a look at these trailers. Maybe we could talk about those, whatever is teased next week on the Battlefield front. And by that time, I'll be able to see the Black Ops 1 and any other news that might break. Maybe some Madden news comes out before EA play. I don't remember if it did last year at all, Smitty.
No,
Do you
I
remember?
didn't.
Not at all. So
The first thing we saw was the long shot. That was literally the first thing we
oh
saw.
yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's right.
So I think that was that Ezekiel Elliott clip. That was that before EA Play. I don't think it was.
Can't remember.
Yeah. So if otherwise, that was the only little clip that we saw was him doing that spin move. I think that was what we saw beforehand. I'm not sure, but I don't think there was anything. And then long shot was at EA Play was what we first saw. So
not much longer. Not much longer. So there you have it. But all right, man, we appreciate you guys coming through. We'll catch y'all next week. Have a safe weekend. Watch some basketball. And, hey, maybe next week we'll be talking about somebody who's no longer in the playoff.
Right.
But all right, man, we'll catch y'all next week, man. Y'all be easy. Peace.
All right. Peace.